first one is that my first language is Spanish, my second language is Spanish, my third one is Spanish, the fourth is body language, probably Dr. will help me with that, and the fifth one is English. So I will try to speak the best way I can. So if you understand something, you have to ask me a question later, because there must be a problem. And if you didn't understand, you're perfectly understanding everything. I have been my second confession. I'm devoted to non-market activities. I have written more than 18 books about, not about what can I do to buy a microphone. My interest is if I could go to a store and say, hey, could I exchange you 2 kilos of love for 1 kilo of envy? What are the emotions that move people? Why do we live the way we live? And based on that, my second confession follows. I have a beautiful girlfriend, and this was like 3 years ago, and I broke. Everything stopped. And I have been always a very rational, very, very devoted to neuroscience, to promoting science, to solid PhDs in economics, but I really was destroyed. I never understood what happened. I have suffered, unfortunately, deaths of parents, not of the stepfathers, etc., brothers, but my pain was so terrible that I say, I have to understand better human beings and what's going on in my society. And I call the Western society, because Benjamin Disraeli mentioned that there are two kinds of nations. One that is really concerned of what they will eat today, and they have to survive. And the other one is the one that we use shopping like a therapy. We are concerned of putting on a diet. I'm talking about this second nation. The one that looks that has everything, but actually it's a little bit sadder. So I will start talking about this topic. If I could imagine my great-great-mother coming now, instead of talking like Great Kunsveld, what will happen in 30 years, what will happen if my great-great-Bobele came now to the world? She will be amazed. She will say, Andrés, I'm looking for the next one. You already saw everything. Well, she will say, Andrés, this is not working, but well, I will try to, somebody could tell me. She will say, Andrés, I'm impressed. You know, now you have more than anything that I had. I never dreamed to have not only faxes, iPods, cellular phones, the luxury you have, airplanes, everything. But forget about that. Women's rights, civil rights, technological advances. She will say, I'm impressed with what's going on now. But she will tell me, but Andrés, I have a problem. You are not so happy. There is a problem. There is a vacuum. I try to understand human beings. We are not happy all the time. That's a lie. I was talking with Dan Gilbert of Stumbling on Happy. Children tell you, Daddy, I love you, and you're very, very happy. But really, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of responsibility. It brings you naches. But however, if you really think about it, it's better to have great children. Grandchildren are like chocolates without calories. And then I asked him, well, I want to be happy. What should I do? And he told me, you need a couple. If you are married, you will be more happy. Of course, he's talking about the average. I'm not married, but I think I'm more happy than many of my friends. But I said, how it comes? I asked him, people that are happy get married, or people that are married are happier? And he told me both ways. And I explained it to me, and he said, statistically, people that are married live much more years. So I say, I have a trap to Ray Kunsveld. Instead of waiting 20 years, I have to marry 5 times, and I will live more. The point here is that at the end, my grandmother will say, Andrés, you are not so happy. The last study about happiness was done at Harvard from 1943 to 2009. The secret of happiness and the problem of happiness is the following. The problem is that happiness is an equation, A for achievement, E for expectations. If you expect a lot about your life, and you want to become President of the United States, you're an Afro-American, and you also want to win the Nobel Prize on Peace, that's tough. And you talk in a conference like this, you will say, well, my happiness, the equation is not working. The problem is that happiness, I'm doing an equation of achievement. And that's the first lie to my brain. We are all fighters. We lie to ourselves. So happiness here doesn't work. I have to quickly go. The best man is the next man. I am talking about 10 things about I won't have time. But 10 things that have a problem with our society tonight. I was walking in Reformes, a street in Mexico, and I read a beautiful, great, big spectacular that says, "The next man is the best man." I said, please, my former girlfriend, please don't read it, because the next one is better. But the problem is, it's not only the next man, it's the next friend, the next cellular phone, the next book. Everything that is next is better, and it has to do with a word of commitment. I was telling to a rabbi, hey, now that I'm divorced, when I was getting married, when I met him the first time, I told him, hey, please, I like very much your speech, but one favor. Instead of telling me that when I die, love, we separate, please say, when love ends, we separate. And he told me, be careful. And he was right, because this is the next society. This is the next generation. And I have 2 minutes to finish, because it's the next generation, everything has to be very fast. The thing is, in the next generation, if you get and you find a person and you say, well, first I have to understand my brain. My brain says that I want to have surprises. That's my animal brain. That's yours. And my brain says that I want to be unique, individual, and different than everybody. That's my nature. That's my brain. I have to understand it. So, but the problem is this generation. I go to a store named Starbucks, and my friend asks, doble espresso cortado. I cappuccino grande latte. El otro lactose. Everybody's different, but Starbucks knows how to sell my individuality. But at the end, I'm killing myself. I'm not different than you. I'm the same schmuck. The point is, and I want to finish with all this, because I won't be able to give all that pain lesson, is that we're having really problems with these things of commitment. If I have a person and I say, this person is forever, I was talking with a guy named Barry Schwartz. He wrote a beautiful book, The Paradox of Choice. We thought, we're lying to us, that more is better than little. More if it is cheaper, no? If it's free, even better. But we're wrong. There are studies that if you go to a store and they have 2,000 options, you always think this one is not the best one. So you are not so happy. Imagine a situation that you get married and it says, I'm sorry, Nara, you please translate it, no retornable. You cannot bring it back. You go to a store and they tell you, if you like it, bring it back. You're not so happy. If you have a wife and they tell you, you cannot bring it back and you cannot, what I will do is, what can I do to make her happy all the life? The thing is, I'm lying to myself. I'm trying to finish with this. This is the last example. This generation believes that if you read a book named Secret, you resolve your problems. I have 3 programs on television in Mexico, and I invite the two of the 12 authors of the book Secret, The Secret. So I hate this book because it's of Generation X. If it really worked, you won't sell so many secrets. But well, forget it. I ask to all the people, okay, the law of attraction, please. Everybody, million people in Mexico, think that I will have more hair. Andrés will grow hair, no hair. What's going on? I mean, it's not a secret that if you believe that you're a nice person, you will behave nicer. That's not a secret. Mente sana in cuerpo sano. Ben-Gurion said that if you have a health mind, you have a health body. But this idea that you attract things and that life is so simple, it's terrible. That's why I always say, and I will end with this quote, in Generation X, we want to have everything like this. We have a frustration for achievement and for work. And I finish with a guy that went and asked a God, Hashem, what's for you, Hashem? 1 million years. And Hashem told him, boy, 1 million years for me is like 1 second. Okay. Hashem, and what's for you? Like $1 million. For me, $1 million. It's like 1 penny. Hashem, could you please give me 1 penny? Of course. Wait 1 second. Generation X needs to work harder because happiness is part of a pursuit. That's why I love American Constitution. The pursuit of happiness. If you really want to live, remember that at the end, what counts is not the years in your life that count, it is the life in your years. Thank you very much.